My beloved, you've heard the news, and I know your heart is heavy. You feel as if a great light has gone out from the earth. A shepherd you loved, a voice of mercy, a man of peace, has come home to me. Yes, Francis is with me now. He is not gone, my child. He is home, just as I promised. You knew him as Pope Francis, but I knew him first. Before he wore white, before he stood before the crowds in Rome, before he was a priest, before he was even born. I knew him. I shaped him in his mother's womb. I whispered his name, Jorge Mario Bergoglio, and called him into being. And then one day I called him again, not as a child this time, but as a man. I called him to follow me, and he said yes, just as I have called you. Yes, I am speaking to you. You see, I do not call the mighty. I do not seek only the learned or the proud or the strong. I call the willing, the broken, the humble. Francis was not perfect, but he was mine. He knew that his strength was not his own, and that his mission was not to glorify himself, but to point the world to me. He listened for my voice in the cries of the poor, in the silence of prayer, in the weight of the cross. And though he often walked in the shadows, he clung to my mercy. So do not let your hearts be troubled. Let me tell you the truth. No one dies in me. Not really. I am the resurrection and the life. Whoever believes in me, though they die, shall live. And whoever lives and believes in me shall never die. You mourn now because you love. And love always weeps when it is separated from the one it loves. I know. I wept too. Do you remember? When my friend Lazarus died, I stood before his tomb, and I cried. Though I knew I would raise him, though I held the power of life in my hands, still I wept, because I loved. So, my dear ones, it is not wrong to cry. Cry if you must. Let your tears fall like morning dew. But do not let your grief become despair, because death does not have the final word. I do. And I tell you now, Francis lives. He has finished his race. He has kept the faith. And I have welcomed him into my Father's house. The same house I am preparing for you. You are still on the journey, but he has arrived. And oh, how heaven rejoiced when he came. Angels sang. The saints embraced him. And I held him close and whispered, "Well done, good and faithful servant. Enter into the joy of your Lord." You knew his smile. You saw the twinkle in his eye. You heard his voice pleading for the world to choose compassion over cruelty, mercy over judgment, hope over fear. He did not speak those words on his own. They were echoes of my voice. Because I am mercy. He was not the source, but a vessel, a lamp that carried the flame I placed within him. And now that lamp has been set upon the hill of eternity, where it will never be extinguished. But my mercy, dear one, did not die with him. No, it flows still, from my pierced side, from my sacred heart, from my throne of grace. Francis was not your savior. I am, and I am with you still. You may feel that something has been lost, but I tell you something has been gained, because now he intercedes for you from the place where no pain touches him, no age weakens him, no weight burdens him. He prays for you just as he did on earth, but now face to face with me. He understands your sorrow, and I do too. He knows what it is to feel overwhelmed by the suffering of the world. He knows what it is to feel small in the face of great need. And yet he pressed on. So must you, my beloved older ones, those who have walked the long road, those who have seen seasons rise and fall. Hear me now. You are still part of my story. You still have a role to play. You are not forgotten. You are not finished. I called Francis at 76 to carry one of the heaviest crosses in my church. Do you think I will not call you to, even now? My voice has no age limit. My purpose has no retirement. Do not bury your gifts with your grief. Francis said yes. In the twilight of his years, he opened his heart to the world. He sat with the lonely. He kissed the sick. He embraced the refugee. He forgave. He blessed. He loved. And so can you. He did not always know the answers. Sometimes he was afraid. Sometimes he made mistakes. But he trusted my mercy more than his own strength. That is why he bore such fruit. Not because of his power, but because of his surrender. What about you? Have you surrendered to me? I do not ask you to become a pope. I do not need you to stand before thousands. I ask you to stand before me, quietly, willingly, humbly, and say, "Yes, Lord, use me, and I will." You too can speak kindness where the world speaks cruelty. You too can forgive where others seek revenge. You too can offer warmth to the stranger, peace to the anxious, light to the wandering. This is what Francis did. This is what you can do. His passing is not an end, it is a sign. A reminder that life is a breath and eternity is real. That my kingdom is not of this world. That every step you take toward love is a step toward me. Do not let your memories grow cold. Remember him, but do not worship him. Honor him, yes, but more than that, imitate him. As he imitated me, you are not alone in your sorrow. I sit with you now. My hands are on your shoulders. My gaze is upon your face. My heart aches with yours. But I see the day coming when your tears will be wiped away, and joy will fill you, never to leave. Until then, walk with me. Speak mercy. Live gently. Forgive often. Love deeply. That is how you honor Francis. That is how you glorify me. Rest now in my peace. I will never leave you, and neither has he. For all who die in me shall live forever. And those who live in me are one body, one spirit, one hope. He is home. You are loved. And I am with you always. My beloved child, when you think of Francis, what do you see? Do you see the man in white standing in the window at St. Peter's? His voice trembling? His hands lifted in blessing? Do you see him seated in the darkened chapel during the height of a silent city, lifting up a world frozen by fear? Or do you see him walking slowly down hospital corridors, stooping low to kiss the feet of prisoners, embracing the poor, washing the wounds of strangers? All of that was real, but even more real was the love that moved him to do those things. That love was not his invention, it was mine. It was I who touched the leper when others stepped away. It was I who knelt to wash the feet of my disciples, even the one who would betray me. It was I who looked at Peter after he denied me 3 times, not with anger, but with mercy. Francis remembered that. He remembered me, and he reminded you. The world does not understand mercy, tries to earn love and punishes failure. But not so with me. My mercy is not earned. It is not bought. It is freely given. It flows from my heart like living water, for the sinner, for the weary, for the forgotten, for the ashamed. Francis knew this. That is why he refused to build walls between people. That is why he refused to label or condemn. He saw the person. He saw you. Even if you never met him, he was thinking of you, praying for you, hoping that you would not be lost to despair, but found in my mercy. You see, he carried a wound, one the world did not often see. The wound of a man who had once been afraid to love fully, afraid to embrace his calling. He had made mistakes, but that is what made his heart tender. Because when you have fallen and been lifted, when you have sinned and been forgiven, when you have wandered and been brought home, then you know the beauty of mercy. Francis never forgot that. He carried it like a lamp, lighting the way for others who still walked in darkness. Do you remember the times he wept? He wept for the children forgotten in war. He wept for mothers who had to flee with nothing. He wept for the elderly left alone in nursing homes, for those who had no one to listen, for the young who had lost hope. His tears were not weakness. They were strength born of compassion. Because when you are close to me, you begin to feel what I feel. And I wept too. When I saw the crowds wandering like sheep without a shepherd, I wept. When I stood before Jerusalem, knowing it would reject me, I wept. And when I looked into the eyes of those who spat on me, those who drove the nails into my hands, I did not curse them. I loved them. I forgave them. Francis proclaimed this forgiveness to the world. Not once, not timidly, but again and again. Even when he was criticized. Even when some said he was too soft. He didn't speak as a politician. He spoke as a disciple. He didn't try to defend me. He tried to reflect me. And you listened. Perhaps his words stirred something in you. A memory from long ago. A moment in church or in silence when you felt my presence. Perhaps it reminded you of a time when you fell and thought I could never welcome you again. But then you heard the whisper of my mercy through his voice, and something changed. Let me speak that truth again now. I forgive you. There is no sin greater than my mercy. No failure beyond my reach. No shame too deep for my love. You may think it's too late, that your life has passed, that you've missed your chance. But Francis would tell you, there is no expiration date on grace. You are never too old to be healed. You are never too far to be found. You are never too broken to be made whole. Francis lived that truth. Do you remember how he would always speak of joy? That joy wasn't shallow. Came from knowing that he was loved by me, even when he didn't deserve it. Especially then. He wanted you to know that same joy. Not a joy that comes from perfect health or wealth or worldly success, but the joy that comes from being forgiven, from being embraced when you least expect it, from hearing your name called not in judgment, but in love. Let me say it again. I know your name. I know your regrets. I know what keeps you awake at night. I know the words you wish you hadn't said, the paths you wish you hadn't taken. I know the times you chose fear over faith, silence over courage, comfort over love. And I still choose you. I chose Francis too, when he was weak, when he doubted, when he wanted to stay hidden. I called him into the light. And when he came, not only did I forgive him, I gave him a mission to carry my mercy into every corner of the earth. You may not be called to speak from a balcony in Rome, but you are called to speak life in a world of despair, called to listen when others ignore, called to forgive the one who hurt you, called to extend grace to someone who doesn't deserve it. Francis knew that real holiness is not loud, it's faithful. It's quiet acts of love that no one sees but me. He would often speak of the need for tenderness. How long has it been since you allowed yourself to be tender? To feel again? To risk caring? To cry for someone who isn't you? You may think it's too late, but let me tell you the truth. It is never too late to love. Francis would have told you the same. With his gentle voice, his careful words, he would have drawn near and reminded you that no matter your past, you still belong to me. He would have reminded you of the prodigal son, the one who ran away, only to be embraced by a father who had never stopped waiting. That's what Francis believed. That's what he preached. He knew what it was to run, and he knew the joy of coming home. So do not remember him as someone far above you. Remember him as someone like you, a sinner loved by God, a man forgiven, a heart remade. That is the hope he carried. That is the hope he offered. And that hope is still for you. Let my mercy reach you now. Let go of what you carry, the old guilt, the secret shame, the fear that I could never want someone like you. Let it fall. Let it go. I never asked you to be perfect. I asked you to be mine. Francis was mine, and now he is with me. He didn't earn heaven. No one does. But he trusted in my mercy, and I was faithful. So be at peace. His life was not a monument to human greatness, but to my compassion. He simply pointed to me and said, "Look there. Look at Jesus. Now I am pointing to you. Yes, you still have time. You still have purpose. The world needs your voice, your prayers, your wisdom, your witness. You have known pain. You have learned endurance. You have seen what many have not. So speak of my mercy. Be like Francis. Remind those around you that I am still here, still loving, still forgiving. You do not need a pulpit. You need only a heart willing to love. So when you remember Francis, remember what he reminded you of, that I forgive, that I restore, that I never turn away a contrite heart. that I am the shepherd who leaves the 99 to find the one. You are that one, and so is your neighbor, and so is the one you've struggled to love. My mercy is for them. My mercy is for you, and it will never run out. Rest now in that truth, and live from it, just like Francis did. Come closer, my beloved. I want to take you to a place where sorrow and mercy meet. It is the foot of my cross. This is where Francis lived. Not in the splendor of palaces, not in the applause of crowds, but in the shadow of the cross. It was here that he discovered his purpose. It was here that he found the deepest truth, that my greatest act was not one of judgment, but of love. Let me take you there now. Stand with me at Golgotha. The sky has darkened. The earth is trembling. Blood and tears flow as one. Around me are jeers and insults, but above them all is a silence more profound than words, the silence of sacrifice. I hang there not because I must, but because I choose to, because I love you, because no sin could ever be allowed to separate you from me forever. So I took it all, the shame, the failure, the regret, and I nailed it to that tree. Francis knew this. He clung to the cross because it told the truth about me. He knew that real strength is not found in dominating others, but in laying down one's life. That the throne of mercy is not built on power, but on pierced hands. He often spoke of the wounds of Christ, not as a poetic idea, but as a reality. Wounds that bled for you, wounds that still speak. He would gaze upon my crucifix, not with despair, but with awe, because he knew that there, hanging in agony, was the greatest miracle. Mercy made visible. Do you understand this, child? Do you see what Francis saw? That you are not forgotten, that your pain is not meaningless, that I am not a distant God watching from above, but one who entered into your suffering, who drank from your cup of sorrow, who bore the weight you could not carry. This is not just a story. This is your redemption. Francis did not fear the cross. He embraced it. He knew that in every cross borne with love, resurrection waits on the other side. He carried many crosses, some you never saw. The burden of leadership, the criticism, the misunderstandings, the loneliness of a man who heard my whisper above the shouts of the world. But still he walked forward. Still he chose love. Still he bent low to serve. Do you remember how he carried himself? So simple, so unadorned. There were no crowns, no golden robes of pride, just a heart trying to stay close to mine. And in doing so, he became like me. He reminded the world that mercy is not weak. Mercy is brave. It goes where others will not go. It enters the wounds. It stays with the suffering. It dares to forgive. So many seek power. Francis sought presence. He knew that the greatest transformation happens not through force, but through the quiet, relentless work of love. This is what I want you to understand. Your life, even now, holds power. Not the kind the world exalts, but the kind that can soften hearts, restore relationships, rekindle faith. You carry a light within you, because you carry me. And just like Francis, you are called to bear that light into a world darkened by fear and cynicism. But to do that, you must first allow yourself to return to the cross. Have you stayed away? Perhaps you carry wounds that haven't healed, disappointments that cloud your trust, losses that seem too great to name. I know. I was there when you wept alone, when you said goodbye to the one you loved, when the silence of your home felt like an echo too deep to fill, when your body no longer did what it used to, and the world seemed to move on without you. I saw it. I see it still. But I want you to know something. I am closest to those who suffer. I do not turn from your pain. I enter it. I came not for the righteous, but for the weary. I came not to scold the broken, but to lift them. I came not to erase your past, but to redeem it. This is the mystery Francis lived. That in weakness, grace abounds. That in surrender, peace is found. He used to say, "The Lord never tires of forgiving. It is we who tire of asking." And how true that is. So many grow weary, not because I withhold grace, but because they forget to receive it. So come now, come to me again. Let go of the thought that you are too old, too stained, too late. Francis was not young when I gave him the greatest mission of his life. And neither are you forgotten. You are still my beloved, and you still have a role to play in this great story of mercy. Your prayers still rise like incense before my throne. Your acts of kindness still ripple in eternity. Your witness, though quiet, still changes hearts. Do not think it small. Nothing done in love is ever small. Francis knew that. That's why he smiled even when his strength failed. That's why he showed up even when he was tired. That's why he chose compassion even when it cost him. Because mercy isn't a feeling. It's a choice. It's the choice to see with my eyes, to look at the ones who are overlooked. The immigrant, the prisoner, the addict, the elderly neighbor who feels invisible, the child who is afraid. Mercy sees them all, and it sees you. Perhaps you've felt like the world has moved past you, that the young are forging ahead while you are left behind. But let me tell you, I never move past my sheep. I do not forget. I walk beside. You still have wisdom that the world needs. You still have a voice that can calm storms. You still have a story of my faithfulness that someone else is waiting to hear. Do not bury your testimony. Francis didn't. Even in his last days, when his body grew weak, his spirit burned with fire. He did not speak loudly, but he spoke clearly. Jesus is mercy, he would say, and mercy has a name. It is Jesus. He was right. I am that mercy. I came for you. I died for you. I rose for you. And now I speak to you again, not from a distance, but from within your very heart. You who have walked through decades of change, through wars, through griefs, through victories and failures, you know now what truly matters. It's not status, not wealth, not recognition. It's love. It's mercy. It's choosing to forgive when you could turn away. It's visiting the friend who can't remember your name but feels your presence. It's holding your tongue when angry words burn on the tip. It's praying quietly in your chair for the ones who will never know you did. These are the sacred acts. Francis called them the grammar of mercy. The ordinary ways love becomes extraordinary. He lived that grammar. He wrote a song with his life, soft notes, but beautiful ones. And now he has returned to me. I welcomed him as I will welcome you. Arms open, wounds still visible, heart still beating with love. Well done, good and faithful servant, I told him, and I long to say the same to you. So walk on, take heart, lift your head. The cross is not the end. It is the beginning. Francis knew that. He trusted me. Now it is your turn. You are not too old to shine. You are not too late to love, and you are not too far to be brought near. Come, be a witness of mercy, like he was, like you are. The world is watching, and I am with you, always. Come and sit with me a while, my beloved. Let us talk about legacy, not the kind that is carved in marble or printed in books, but the kind written in hearts, the legacy that heaven remembers. The world has said goodbye to my servant, Francis, but heaven has welcomed him home. And now I want you to understand what he left behind. Not just the image of a humble man in white robes, but a living testimony of mercy in motion. A trail of love that still glows in the places he walked, the people he touched, the prayers he whispered in silence. Francis lived the truth that so many forget. Greatness is not in titles, but in tenderness. Not in platforms, but in proximity. Not in ruling from above, but in kneeling below. He often said, "The church is a field hospital after battle." Do you know what he meant? He saw the wounds of the world. The spiritual wounds, the emotional ones, the wounds of abandonment, addiction, confusion, despair. And he believed my church must be a place where the wounded are treated with compassion, not condemnation. He was right. I never came for the perfect. I came for the broken. I never asked for polished prayers. I longed for honest hearts. I never turned away the leper or the sinner or the skeptic. I welcomed them, I touched them, I healed them, and so did Francis. He understood that mercy is the medicine the world needs. Not the cheap kind that ignores sin, but the powerful kind that meets sin with forgiveness, truth, and transformation. Do you remember how he stepped into the messiness of people's lives? He didn't wait for them to come clean and perfect. He met them on the streets. He called the forgotten. He kissed the bruised faces of the poor. He ate with the outcast. He washed the feet of prisoners. And in doing so, he reminded the world, I am still here. I am still doing those things through those who follow me. That is legacy. That is the gospel lived out. And now I turn to you, you who have seen many years pass. You who carry wisdom in your wrinkles and memories in your heart. You may not be a pope, or a priest, or a preacher, but you too are called to leave a legacy of mercy. You may ask, Lord, what can I do now? My steps are slower. My hands tremble. The world seems louder than my voice. But let me tell you something holy. Some of the loudest echoes in eternity come from the softest voices here on earth. Francis knew that. He didn't shout, he spoke gently. He didn't demand attention, he gave it. And look at the hearts he touched. You can too. Do not measure your life by the strength of your body. Measure it by the depth of your love. Do not count your usefulness by what you can do, but by who you are becoming. A soul anchored in me is never wasted. There are children in your family who need to see what grace looks like. There are neighbors who need a kind word, a prayer, a listening ear. There are wounds in your own life that, when surrendered to me, can become streams of healing for others. Francis allowed his own wounds to become places where my mercy shined. He didn't hide them, he brought them to me, and I turned them into light. I can do the same with yours. You may have regrets. So did he. He once said, I am a sinner whom the Lord has looked upon, not as a poetic phrase, but as a personal confession. He knew his weakness, but he never let it separate him from me. He let it draw him closer. You can do that too. Your failures are not the end of your story. Bring them to me. Let me breathe forgiveness over them. Let me show you how even your deepest shame can become a testimony of my love. That is what Francis taught by how he lived and by how he died. Even in his final days, he clung not to power, but to prayer. He didn't ask for monuments. He asked for mercy. And now, his voice has joined the great cloud of witnesses, those who have run the race and finished well. He now intercedes for you. He now rejoices in the presence of the one he followed so dearly. But you, beloved, are still here. And that means your work of mercy is not yet finished. Do not think of mercy only as grand gestures. It is in the small things. The gentle word, the patient smile, the forgiveness given to someone who never said sorry, the card you send, the visit you make, the story you share, the prayer you whisper when no one else is watching. These things matter. Francis used to say, reality is greater than ideas. That means this: you don't need to talk about love endlessly. Just live it. Just be it. You don't need a pulpit. You have your kitchen table. You have your phone. You have your daily walk where you can greet a stranger and bless them without even speaking my name, because your eyes will tell the story. You are still my disciple, and I am still writing your story. Francis showed you how. He spoke of me not as a distant doctrine, but as a friend, a companion, a savior who never gives up. He made mistakes in his life, but he trusted me more than he trusted his own fears. And in doing so, he gave you a pattern to follow. Do not be afraid to be real. Talk to me when your faith feels weak. I will strengthen you. Cry to me when the loss feels too much. I will comfort you. Call out to me when you feel alone. I will draw near. This is the path of mercy. Not always easy, but always worth it. Francis carried burdens, others' pain, the heavy cloak of leadership, the misunderstandings of his critics. And yet, he never gave up, because he knew he didn't walk alone. Neither do you. I walk with you, through every valley, over every hill, through the long nights and the quiet mornings. I never leave. And when you extend my mercy to others, you will feel my presence in ways deeper than ever before. You don't need permission to be kind. You don't need to be perfect to be merciful. You only need to remember this. I was merciful to you first. Let that mercy shape you. Let it flow from you. Let it be your legacy. Francis didn't seek to be remembered. He sought to love well. That is why he is remembered now. And one day, when your time comes to return home to me, the measure of your life will not be how much you earned, or how many people praised you, but how you loved, how you forgave, how you showed mercy when you could have chosen something else. There will be someone, maybe a child, a friend, a stranger, who will remember you not for your strength, but for your tenderness. They will say, "She reminded me of Jesus. He made me feel like I mattered." They carried light when my world felt dark. And that will be enough, because love is never wasted. Francis showed you the way. Now it is your turn to walk it. Even now, as you listen, he prays for you. He smiles at you. And I, your Jesus, am calling you, not to do more, not to be more, but simply to be mine, to rest in my mercy, and to carry that mercy to others. That is the legacy. That is the gospel. That is what I came to bring. That is what Francis gave. That is what you are now invited to live. So come, beloved, let us walk together. There is still more mercy to give. Beloved, stay with me a little longer. We have walked a sacred journey together, through grief, through remembrance, through mercy. Now let us walk towards something eternal, something waiting for you just beyond this life. The world mourns the passing of my servant Francis, but I tell you, heaven rejoices. He is not gone. He has merely gone ahead. And now, the same invitation that I extended to him, I extend to you. Come, follow me. You may wonder, Lord, how can I follow you now at this age, with a body that aches and a mind that grows weary? But I remind you, the path I walk is not measured in miles. It is walked by the heart, and your heart still beats with purpose. You are still called. You are still chosen. You are still loved. Francis knew this in the depths of his being. Even as his strength declined, his spirit deepened. He gave not from excess, but from surrender. He followed me not because the road was easy, but because I was there. And I am here for you now. Do you feel me near? You have lived many seasons. You have known joy and loss, laughter and tears, and still you are mine. You are precious to me, not because of what you've accomplished, but because of who you are, a soul made in my image, bought with my blood, held in my mercy. You may carry regrets, lay them down. You may carry grief, hand it to me. You may carry fears about the world, about your family, about what comes next. But listen closely, my child. I hold the future. You don't have to understand it. You only have to trust me in it. Francis once said, "The name of God is mercy, not judgment, not distance, not demands. Mercy, because I long not to punish, but to pardon, not to accuse, but to embrace, not to shame, but to save." I know your story, every chapter, even the pages you've tried to tear out. I have read them all, and still I call you mine. This is not the end of your story. This is a holy chapter, a chapter where legacy takes root, not in grand gestures, but in simple faithfulness. You may not be able to travel the world or speak to crowds, but you can sit beside a lonely soul. You can listen with love. You can pray for someone forgotten. You can forgive someone who never asked. You can open your Bible and meet me there. You can still follow me. Francis followed me into prisons. You can follow me into your neighbor's sorrow. He followed me into slums. You can follow me into quiet phone calls of encouragement. He followed me into debates of theology. You can follow me into a conversation about hope at the kitchen table. It all matters. Every act of mercy echoes in eternity. Do not say, "I am too old." Abraham was nearly 100 when he received my promise. Moses was 80 when I called him to lead. Anna the prophetess was elderly when she saw me in the temple and rejoiced. Your age is not a limit. It is a testimony that says, He carried me this far. He will carry me still. Francis trusted that. He spoke often about the elderly, about their value, their wisdom, their hidden strength. He said, You are not forgotten, and neither do I forget you. I see you. When you sit alone with memories that won't let go, I see you. When you pray through the night for a wandering child, I see you. When you choose to love again and again when it would be easier to grow bitter, I see you, and I am so pleased. You are storing treasure in heaven, more precious than anything the world can offer. Francis often reminded the world of the poor, but he didn't mean only those without money. He meant those who are poor in spirit, the lonely, the grieving, the addicted, the angry, the despairing, and yes, even the proud, because they, too, are starving for my mercy. So many wander, thinking they are too far gone, but they are not. You may be the one I send to remind them. Yes, you, with your story, with your gentleness, with your compassion, earned through decades of trial and grace. Do not underestimate the power of your presence. When you walk into a room, I walk in with you. When you open your mouth to bless, my spirit speaks through you. When you put your hands to work, no matter how small the task, they become instruments of my mercy. You are not alone in this. Francis is with me now, worshiping among the saints. But you are still in the field, and I have planted you where you are for such a time as this. You are not past your prime. You are in your purpose. And when your time comes, when your earthly breath gives way to eternity, I will be there. I will not send another. I myself will come. I will hold your hand as you cross the waters. I will whisper your name as you close your eyes. I will carry you gently to the place I have prepared for you. And when you open your eyes, you will see the light of my face. You will hear me say, Well done, good and faithful servant. That day is not something to fear. It is not the end. It is the homecoming. Francis believed this deeply. That is why he faced death not with panic, but with peace. He trusted me, and you can too. Until then, live each day as a gift. Give more than you receive. Laugh when you can. Weep when you must. And always, always return to me. Do not let the noise of the world drown out the whisper of my voice. For I am still speaking. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. I do not ask you to save the world. That is my work. I ask you only to love the people I place in front of you, to love them with kindness, with patience, with mercy, just as I have loved you. That is how Francis lived. That is how I invite you to live. You don't need to worry about being remembered by the world. Just be remembered in heaven, and you will be, because nothing you do in love is forgotten. Not a single tear, not a single prayer, not a single act of mercy. They rise like incense. They fill the chambers of heaven, and one day they will be revealed in glory. So now, my beloved, as we end this journey together, know this: you are never too old to be used by me. You are never too broken to be healed by me. You are never too lost to be found by me. You are mine. I formed you in your mother's womb. I walked with you through every season. I carried you through storms. I wept with you. I rejoiced with you, and I have prepared a place for you. But until that day, walk with me still. Be a bearer of mercy, a voice of comfort, a witness to grace. And when your race is finished, I will welcome you home, with open arms, with eyes full of tears, with a love that never ends. Francis is here now. One day you will be too. And until then, let these words be your song. Jesus, I trust in you. Say it with your breath. Live it with your life. And follow me. I am with you always, even to the end of the age.